Hey guys, just a quick video today about my kegging. So I've got a keg. This was in my Keezer, which you're sitting on top of at the moment. You'll get to see that in a bit. I've cleaned the keg and I've got about 4 litres of water in there. So I'm going to chuck some star sand in there, give it a shake, and then I'm going to connect it up to the line, which is finished. So there's a keg in there which I'll need to take out. I'll then run the star sand through this tap to clear the tap and the pipes, and also the pickup tube, which is something that I don't clean every time, which is the long tube inside the keg going down there. So this is how I do it. First, put the star sand in and give it a shake. I measured out about 4 mils of star sand there. Obviously everything's been cleaned, so this is just the sanitizing part. Get a little bit of star sand everywhere, lovely. Then dry the outside of the keg before you put it in your Keezer, because it's easier than trying to dry the Keezer itself, which can be quite difficult. Then I'll switch it around. Get a little look inside the Keezer. So keg number 3 it was, which is obviously this keg here. I'll detach everything, get the other keg in, put it on CO2 and pump it through. But for that I'm going to turn off the CO2 to the other 3 kegs, just so that I don't end up with any pressure issues and all of that. Okay, I had to change the seal around the other way because it was leaking out the seal. So now I'm going to close it up. And the reason why I used 4 litres of stuff in the keg is so that I can just turn this on here. Give it a little open and close like this. That'll just soften things up. I am going to take the tap off and clean it itself in this solution here. So I'll just let that run dry. First half litre I'll chuck out because it'll be a bit contaminated. Another good thing using this method, using that setup to wash through the pipes, is that it then fills it with CO2, which means I don't need to CO2 purge before I keg. And here's the beer here that's going in the keg. That's my Elvis Juice clone. I might even be able to force carb it and get one on tonight. Okay. So we'll get that out and then we'll swing you around the other side. Okay, so here we have the keg, and then I've got some star sand in here, but I've taken the pipe out of there. It's been soaking in there for a while and now it's soaking in the star sand. I've just pulled through the keg. So we get the pipe for transfer. And in the keg she goes. First things first, I need to have a little spray with the star sand. Now when I start this, I make sure that the airlock is out. And voila! And that's filling up into CO2, so it's going to be protected and it won't get oxidized because of that. Straight back into the star sand, get it wet as soon as you can. You don't want any of that sugar or any of the beer to dry on the inside of the pipe. So you want to get that pipe dry as soon as you can after you finish using it. Dry your pipe. Okay, lid on. Close the CO2 outlet. Now, I'm going to have it just on the outside so that when I carve it up, I can give it a shake. And I crank it straight up to 40 psi. So you can see all of the others are off except for the gas pipe that I'm using here. And I've got that set to 40 psi. That accomplishes two things. One is it forces a seal on the seal here, and second, it immediately starts to pump gas into the beer. Now, as soon as I hear the gas is equalized, like there's a noise that my gas makes when it's feeding through. I'll just give it a shake. So I'm going to do this for about 2 or 3 minutes. Do the shake. Disconnect the gas, put it in the keezer, and fingers crossed it'll have some level of carbonation. The rest of the carbonation can take place just while it's sitting on gas aging, because it's got to age. And this rocking motion just forces the gas into the beer. That's the shake all done. That was about 4 to 5 minutes. It's still at 40 psi in here, so I'm going to get it in there, spray the outpost with star sand, connect it up. But first I'll need to reduce the pressure in the cake just a little bit. So I'll just purge a little bit more out because I need to just, get the airspace empty as well. That's something I actually forgot to do. I was supposed to do that before doing this, but because it was full of CO2 anyway, I should still be okay. Okay, it's all connected up in there now, so I'm going to close her up, pull a ½ pound of throwaway beer, and then pull a taster. So you can see the head on that. That's now at serving pressure 12 psi. There's loads of little bits of yeast and stuff floating around in there because nothing's settled yet. It's all just been shaken up. But it's ready to drink. It's just a matter of letting it settle now. Okay, now that's at 17 degrees Celsius at the moment. And there's a definite sort of greenness to the flavour, but the hops coming through on that, quite a lot of hops in this zombie dust clone. Sorry, not zombie dust, Elvis Juice clone. That tastes really nice and smooth. Mouthfeel, carbonation level, temperature could be a bit colder, which will happen now. But normally what I do is I cold crash my beer in the fermenter before I put it in the keg. I couldn't this time because I've got another batch of Kolsch in there which is coming up in another video. But cheers guys, that's how I force carb. I missed a couple of steps there because I was videoing and not paying attention, so extra couple of sanitation steps. Make sure you keep sanitizing everything, but that's the gist of it. Beer in 10 minutes.